Well, hey there, it's Jen.
And Elke. Welcome back to the Jen and Elke Show, where we love talking about print on demand, marketing, and strategy. And I'm just going to say this, like Jen and I are the Zazzle experts, let's just put it out there. But what's really important is that this applies to all print on demand platforms. So everything that you learn here can easily apply to Etsy or any other print on demand platform like Shopify that you want to sell print on demand products on. Now, we have helped our Zazzle sellers become Etsy sellers and Spoonflower sellers, Redbubble sellers, and Shopify sellers. And a lot of people from Etsy have jumped ship and come to Zazzle, and we're the ones that have coached them to leverage their stuff that they're selling on Etsy, even more so on the Zazzle platform. So if that's something that you need to hear so that you really understand it's not always just about Zazzle, and that Zazzle's something that's maybe something you haven't considered, but should maybe consider because it's so lucrative. And what we love about it is that we're trying to say to you, listen, it's just a little bit of a different way of approaching print on demand than you might have had as sort of your expectation when you're doing print on demand in other platforms. But once you get it, it's so lucrative that you just go like, well, I was working way too hard on those other platforms. Yeah. And so again, today, what we're doing is helping you understand what's possible on the platform by talking about the graduation niche on Zazzle that Zazzle's brought a guide out for. And what we do is we love going through, it's like a movie review, but we're reviewing the guide, and that we're going to do that. And we're reviewing the product and design trends. But all of this is very specific to not just any, like the Zazzle platform, it's also to anything where you are maybe selling designs on Minted or selling it on Greeting Card Universe. It's so lucrative and market. You've got to get into it somehow in some way. And this is the beginning of the intel, which is the marketing and strategy part of it. And then you can apply it everywhere.
Yes. Okay, so obviously by the banner on the bottom of this video, you can see that we're talking about the graduation guide from Zazzle and the 2026 update. And this section, we are going to be doing product and design trends. In a minute, I'm going to share my screen and we'll go through that. But I just want to say, if you have not yet watched the other video we did about the design themes, then go after this video and watch that. And then look out for the next video that we're going to be releasing, which is our third and potentially even a fourth part of dissecting this guide from the graduation trends that are happening in 2026, because we want to break it down. It's a big guide, and so we don't want to overwhelm you with lots of information all at once. So this is our second part of this sort of series and going through the graduation guide on Zazzle. So you can Google this. This is something easy to find. Just put in graduation guide Zazzle 2026 or go into the information. You know how you get those updates from Zazzle through your creator insights or whatnot in the back end. You can go through that or find it on the forum. The previous video that we recorded was going through the trending themes. So that's already been covered. So if you haven't watched that video, like I said, go back and watch it. And now we're going to dive into the product and design trends. Okay.
Okay, and as with each one of these guides, we love that Zazzle's doing this now because we used to do this for our clients, and Zazzle's finally gotten to the point where they're putting the time and effort in and doing a great job. However, sometimes what we what we add as value here is we're not just reading off the guide, we're giving you our intel and our insider information, which is the wisdom. So it's the one thing that you can't find anywhere else is the wisdom that came from us working with our clients, us doing graduation designs ourselves and selling them for the last 18 years. And then you can take that wisdom and hopefully make it work in your store. Okay. And obviously, if you can't, but you want our guidance, then there's opportunities for you to work with us that you should check out.
Okay, let's dive into this first row here. So you can see that it's product and design trends. So primarily we focused on invitations in our previous video, but there are so many other product types that can be included in the graduation niche. So it's not just limited to invitations. However, most of these products that are showcased here are invitations because you either have a graduation announcement or a graduation party invitation. And so those two are different popular invitation trend, let's call them like the actual product design. But we'll see some extra products in here that are not related to invitations. However, this row is all invitations right now. Okay, so the first one is modern minimalist designs, and we saw that trend through the wedding season as well, and it's something that's been throughout graduation multiple years back. When I first started out on Zazzle, you know, when I started making my own graduation invitations, this was a big thing too. So basically having a photo, an eye-catching photo that sort of sets the scene, and then obviously playing around with your font types. And actually the modern minimalist designs are probably the harder ones to actually design because you are very limited with just text and photo basically. So you want to make sure that you choose a really attractive photo, attractive being, you know, it's a photo that people can relate to, or it's close up, right? You can see the person's face. You're choosing a photo that sets the scene. So obviously maybe this photo here, this is a young girl. So if that's whether it be high school or college or university, making sure that the picture actually makes sense with the product that you're trying to sell. Obviously, the customers are going to be changing this photo to their own, but just choosing a really good photo makes it all the difference, okay? And then also the font choices.
And, you know, this is a design style that's been around forever. So obviously you're not going to copy this person, but, they're using that era theme as well, because I was doing senior era. But yeah, this was something that Jen and I like started doing way back in like 15 years ago. It's nothing new, but the newness is the style of font that they chose and what they're doing with it. Cleverly enough, and I don't know if they're going to get away with this, Moodthology, is they've actually got the word Taylor and then they've got senior era. So they're really pushing the connection between Taylor Swift. Okay, so I don't know, but anyway, we'll see what happens. But yeah,
next one is scallop details. So this is a trend that's coming back into fashion. Zazzle incorporated the scalloped themed or the scallop style for invitations many years back, and that was popular back then. We haven't seen scallop in a while, so this is an interesting one. And interestingly enough, they chose this design too. It's funny, like personally, the contrast between the stripes and then the pink scallop border, it's a bit interesting. So yeah, play around with scallops if you want to, if it's something that's up and coming, but make sure that it looks nice and cohesive, and write these color choices also that they've chosen. It's pink and green. And so, yeah, just this one is a little bit interesting.
And that's from a really popular designer, but it's really strange that she's picked something where the person doesn't look too happy. Yeah. So be careful with these kinds of designs. But yeah, let's see what happens. The scallop is always sort of a, like, you know, when someone throws in a design style that might start trending, but maybe not will, like it. And this is one of those things where scallops can either be a total hit or a total miss. So just don't rely only on scallop.
And scallop is kind of limiting because it's more so just connected to like borders and barriers, right? And so you have to be a little bit inventive when it comes to using the scallops for sure. Then we have photo-centric announcements. It's really funny because this one here is not a new theme or a new trend.
No.
Photos have been around. Definitely a lot more people are doing photo collages, so incorporating more than one photo in your invitation. And I really like how this background is actually not equal, and it's sort of this really cool collage that they've created.
Like the yearbook. Like I used to be a yearbook editor, and that really does look yearbook edit kind of.
Yeah, and
it's just perfect. It's really good design.
I think they've also done a really great job at doing the front. I love how the 2026 is great. There's a gradient underneath, and it goes over top of the photo. Like we always say when we're reviewing these products and going through the guides, please don't copy any of these products. Right? This is a design that obviously somebody spent a lot of time and effort like curating and creating. And so please don't copy. The one thing that I want to say about photo grids like this, though, is that you are determining how many photos somebody has of like a person who's graduating, right? And or the sizing of those photos. And so we've got two portrait size photos here. We kind of have, it is kind of a landscape, but it's more on the squarish side. And this is like a half portrait size. So just make sure that obviously when you're choosing these collage sizes for the photos, that, it would be easy for the customer to, first of all, have that amount of photos that they want to upload, and then also have the sizing and have the product, like the images fit in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. It says you're always rolling the dice with collages, because maybe somebody only has one photo, or maybe they only have three. And so if there's this is 5 photos, and so if they don't have 5 photos to input into the invitation, then it won't be applicable to them, even though it's a really, really cool design, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have metallic foil, and this is obviously using the foil invitations on Zazzle. And so it is a very popular design. Foil is popular for all occasions, especially Christmas as well. And so graduation, I think people will spend the extra money to do the foil upgrade, because obviously this is a special event when somebody's graduating, and they might include that in their budget. So foil, you can play around with and have so much fun using it as for all of your text on your invitation, or portions of your text, doing certain elements and design, like, I want to say details to put on top of the gold foil. And so, yeah, you can definitely kind of have fun
put on top of the photo. Yeah.
On the photo, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to say, though, the way they've got their cover image set, it looks like maybe the back of the card is that foil, but it probably isn't. So yeah, just be careful as to how you position.
Well, you can't put the
exactly.
You can't put the foil on the back.
I know.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next one here. We've got the arch silhouette. And so this is a big one. I'm so happy that Zazzle introduced the arch shaped style of invitation, and people are playing around with that, which is really cool. This design is also really neat. I love how people are playing around with these overlays and having the words appear on top of the photos in a specific way, rather than just putting text on top.
Or like with the gradient overlay.
Yeah. So this is a really beautiful design. And then once again, just playing around with the collage size photos. Make sure that you have enough, or make sure that you have the right sizes or an amount of photos. And I would even do different variations or versions. Yeah. And I love the color schemes. This touching point on this, I think we talked about this in the last video for graduation. This sort of soft pastel pink is really coming into trend.
And that's not even a pink. It's more of a cream or
cream, or maybe I'm like sideways on the computer
or something. Yeah,
it's a really nice soft design though.
Oh my gosh, and it's Kim's again. Yes. Okay.
This is one of our coaches for our Profit by Design Academy. She was one, still is kind of a current student of ours, and also a coach. Okay, then we have the what's called squiggle hand drawn motifs, but we've seen
which is interesting because it's normally called whimsical hand drawn. Yeah. Where did the word squiggle come from?
I don't know. Squiggle. But this one was a trend from last year, and we saw this definitely for bridal shower and weddings as well. And it's now almost been a year, because I know that people were making graduation invitations with this last year as well. And so clearly this trend is still kicking, which is really fun. I quite like it. It's like that sort of rustic, raw, but also elegant at the same time. Yeah, I don't know how you would really describe it, but it's fun. I like this trend that's happening with the hand-drawn design. Now we get into these ones where sometimes Zazzle inputs, they've obviously done research on external blogs and things like that.
I know, with this drink thing.
And so there isn't actually a product that they could potentially find, I'm assuming, on Zazzle. And
because it's all related to trademarked brands, which they're not allowed to do.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, embracing playful drink stations. So I'm not too sure what they're trying to get you to do here, whether that be create signs for the table placemats and where you have your drink bar, and you also have your candy bar and things.
What else does it say?
It just says interactive stations with customized drinks. So when you're doing this, obviously this is a little bit of a misleading picture, because clearly you can't make a sign that says Coke recipes and use the Coca-Cola can. So being aware of that. But definitely, we've seen it with weddings, we've seen it with graduations, where people make extra products on the signs, and so you can have a sign that says, the signature cocktail or whatnot. So this is not a new theme or a new trend, but it is something different that they're putting in for graduation. But yeah, just be very wary of that. Then we've got the QR codes. And so this is kind of a fun thing, sort of relating to these table signs here, where you can use QR codes to, as you see here, to donate to the college fund, or use it to,
collect photos.
Yeah. So being playful with the QR codes and having them on signs so that it can add to the experience of the event. This is most likely for, obviously, a graduation party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Striped patterns are making a return. See, this is one of the reasons why we go through these. It's like, okay, thanks for letting us know, as if we don't know that already. But what I like is that there's a variation in terms of the stripe combination of colors and how they're using the stripes, right? Most of the time we use the stripes on the back. And I love that they've got this one featured here where a lot of it's focused on the stripe on the front part of the invitation. It's very clever. Please don't copy this wonderful woman here who made this design up. It's very original. But yes, bring your own take to the stripes in terms of colors and also how you use them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then what's this one here? Personal accomplishment focused touch to graduation gifts by featuring the graduations,
like
or
a
the graduate's degree.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's one of the things that's so fun on the Zazzle platform is the personalization, right? You're not just uploading some sort of random AI generated image. You're literally allowing people to put something up that's going to be personalized once they get it. So in this case, it's the label for the whatever you want to, like here it's champagne, but you can put it on any bottle that's a homemade alcoholic drink and create that uniqueness of it, right? This is now like a wine or a champagne specific for this occasion. And that is memorabilia, even if you start drinking it. Okay.
That's a fun one. Okay. Then we have a reminder to incorporate graduation years. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's a funny one. I'm not too sure if that's just
this is actually bringing up a really important aspect of on Zazzle. But one of the downsides is that you can't, they used to have this option, but they've sort of pulled it back a bit because it's too hard to police everything. But there used to be an option where you could edit a design that was already selling. So something like Jen and I, we had I had one that said graduation 2012, and it was selling in 2020, almost in 2020 still. And that was 8 years later. And I couldn't change it from 2012 to 2020. And then they, around, 2023, they instituted the option to edit.
Yeah.
But it took forever for Zazzle staff to get their approval to bring it back to you. And by that time, it was a waste. So it was always this balance of us having to make the actual product for the year that we're trying to sell it in. But then they came out with this wonderful thing where they go put the 20XX in there, and it's like, why? The whole idea is to show them how the numbers look for the year that they're trying to purchase it for. And so it's for the seller, it's a little bit more work. And also, if your 2026 product takes off, but then it's outdated in 2027, there's no way to get that history back for that listing to be able to say, okay, it'll sell in 2027 because it's still popular, but it really isn't because it's not 2027. And so it is a dilemma. And a word of advice: do both.
Yeah, it's the one downside of it, because I personally don't like doing the 20XX because then it doesn't make it look good for me anyway, personally. And then doing the 2026 or whatnot. Previous years, I actually did 2020, when it was 20.
All kinds of.
All years out. I do that with my wedding invitations as well. But if it was 2022, for example, I would put 2030. However, I stopped doing that because it's not. If people want to see it visually for that year, and for whatever reason, even though this is a really beautiful design. Imagine this said 2025 on it. All of a sudden it has a timestamp on it. And then you're like, oh, that's outdated, even though the design can be changed by the customer and it is still relevant, right?
Yeah.
And so graduation for that reason is a little bit more work. But to be honest, I still sell some graduation invitations that I made in previous years, and people still they buy it for the design. But if you're making new designs and not selling your old ones, like you're making them fresh today or this month while you're watching this, then I would highly suggest doing the 2026, obviously.
And make it a template if you can.
Yes, definitely. And then this last one here, make your graduation collections even more personal by incorporating occupation-specific designs. So law school, it's quite fun. I mean,
I know we've taught this for years. So yeah, it's just people forget that there's all these other options out there. Depending on your experience with graduating people in your family, you may not know that all these things are an option, right? But yeah.
Yeah. So, and these are great because this helps you niche down, right? And although not everybody is graduating from law school, but there are a lot of people that graduate from law school. And
Absolutely.
so if they want to have something specific to nursing school, to law school, to whatever it may be, business school, then they can find that, right? And then it's special to them. Okay, so then the next one we have here are statement backdrops and fabric signs. This is a kind of a cool one because obviously they're brother or sister and they're celebrating two people. I wouldn't recommend doing that design all the time because not everybody's going to be graduating together or twins. But, this is a cool take on it because what we have seen in previous years where people have a backdrop where they can take like selfies and things, but this is actually a banner showcasing the graduate in a larger form. We have, a lot of our clients who we've helped them create banners for the lawn signs and the flag banners. But to be honest, unless you tell me.
We have a lot of people.
Yeah. So, but this is a cool concept. You can do it either selfie style. So it's supposed to be a backdrop to take pictures of. And then you can even add like a QR code to a banner as well and say, hey, submit your photo here or whatnot. You can have a lot of fun around this one.
Yes.
It's a very inventive idea, definitely. Then we have station signs. So make a flower bouquet bar. This is interesting because this, for me, it seems more like a wedding thing rather than anything. I don't know if they've taken that from.
Maybe not the best choice of an example there.
But that kind of goes back to the signs that we saw at the beginning.
Drink and
make
stuff.
the drink,
yeah.
Then newspaper graduation invitations. And this is an interesting one because it's cool. I like it. And I've worked with some of my students to create newspaper wedding invitation designs as well. But personally, I'm not like super attracted to it because I don't know. It's obviously a very small niche, right? And you have to have, normally it's a black and white photo. Like you have to really set the tone for it because if you don't make it look like a newspaper, then you're not hitting the mark. And unfortunately, no one's going to buy your product. But this is a cool kind of theme that is up and coming, but it's not for everyone. I think a lot
It's
more
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And I think a lot more people actually really enjoy like this type of stuff as well. Because it's a very formal, and
like it could also be that this they're showcasing this as like a download, which might mean it's actually even and downloads on Zazzle that you can do foam boards or invitation like flat cards. But if it's an invitation, it might have even more on the back. Or it might be one of those that's the trifold. And those aren't downloads though. But yeah, if you want to know where to start and where to stop with regards to this, right? This might not be enough because you're trying to do the theme, but then you're missing out on all the pieces of the theme, which are, you'd expect some more information, like maybe some history about, like a baby picture and medium, like a
like a whole story, not just this looks just like a flyer announcement or something, but you'd want to have like an article to go with it. And so I think that would be included hopefully as well. Okay, then we have excuse me, posters that showcase their photos, milestones, and standout achievements. It's a nice one. Yes, definitely.
Been working with our clients on doing those for years and years.
Yep. And then we have welcome signs Obviously, those have been a big thing for graduations before. And then we have, this one's a fun one. And this one actually has been popular for the last couple of years because I've seen it come up quite often. But this one here where you have capture memories from the big day with autograph posters. And so if you see even this one here, is it actually the original one has, just really quickly. So the original one actually has the writing on it.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's her cover photo. So yes.
And actually that's something that we want to really point out is, if this is going to be a helpful hint, is listen, you have to explain that, right? You don't want them to think that this is what they're going to get. Yeah. Go ahead.
Nope, that was about it. So I wanted to make sure that they had. So if you're going to make something like this with an autograph board, then make sure that you leave it blank so that people can actually write on it as well. Okay. Yeah. And then we've got advice and wish cards, which is fun. This is a new one.
It's a new one, yeah. And it might go over well. Yeah. Might be fun.
Make sure that you have it on the right type of card as well. And she's got it as an invitation. Let's just quickly go in here and look to see what size these are. It's actually the 5x7, which is interesting. So you're selling, that's a big card for, yeah. Okay. Well, cool. I've never seen anything actually like that before. I was assuming, based on actually her cover photo too, it's a bit misleading. It makes it look like there's the small little like gift tag size. And so,
or just a 3.5x2.
Like, or an accommodations card.
5x5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all of them for this one here. For the before we get into the other sections of the the graduation guide here. I'm going to stop screen share. So you can take whatever you like from our advice. Sometimes we're a little bit like, everything in the guide that you see is not everything that you should do. The graduation guide is a little bit different than the wedding invitation guide because there's a lot more like random themes and things like that. But definitely because we covered the product types. Okay, we saw invitations, we saw the foam boards, we saw banners, we saw what else did we see? A lot of the signs, like the posters and things, but there's so many more products for graduations that you can create. I would highly suggest that you make napkins. Napkins were one of my biggest bestsellers for graduations because people buy them for their parties. Elke sold a lot of the grad cap hats. Then there's
the fans.
The fans, yeah. And then there's other products that are even related to the gift giving to the graduate. So if you wanted to, there's mugs and photo plaques and all of these little kind of keepsake type things that are really important as well. And so
ornaments.
Yeah. Ornaments. Yes, that's definitely.
I know. So I'm like, we're just throwing a lot of stuff out there because listen, I think out of the $165 million worth of products that we've helped our clients sell, I think about a third of that is all related to grad stuff. Like, because we've done really a lot of work with people for grad. So get on in this market and give it a shot.
Yes.
Come and join us too if you want to get the inside scoop and the leg up so that you don't have to try it all by yourself first.
Are we doing that here?
Yeah. So yes, definitely. And also the Profit by Design Academy. So at the time of this recording on March 24th, we are going to open the Sold Bootcamp, which is our taste of what it's like to come into our Profit by Design Academy. If you're watching this after, obviously the Sold Bootcamp will be in progress, but you can come into our Profit by Design Academy as well, which is the elkeclarke.com/start and scale. And that will give you everything that you need, especially, when Jen said those text designs are the hardest thing. In the Profit by Design Academy, we teach you how to do the text designs because that is the most lucrative and yet the most difficult. And so come on in and let's get going. Let's start making money selling graduation items.
Yes. So if you want to check out those links and join us in the Sold Bootcamp, it's in the description. And also if you want to go to elkeclarke.com/start and scale to check out more about the Profit by Design Academy experience. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in one of the programs. Bye.